What a show there, man.
Hey, thank you.
The energy, the intensity when you're kicking, like when you're just digging in, man, you can play loud, but you can also play very soft.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dave DiCenso.
Hello, Drumeo.
Thank you so much
Fans,
for coming.
members, viewers, great to be here.
I'll let you catch your breath, and while I do that, if you guys haven't checked out Dave already, you got to check him out. I first saw Dave in 2006. It was at the Modern Drum Festival. I got the DVD, and I was telling Dave this already, but it blew me away. You did like a 15-minute solo that was absolutely unreal and very creative. I was watching the whole time. Not once did I get bored in a drum solo for 15 minutes. So you guys got to go check that out if you haven't. Also, you have your drummer for Josh Groban. You play with Duran Duran, Steve Morse, Hiromi, John Petrucci. The list goes on. So you're pretty well-off drummer. You've been getting quite good gigs, I guess. And also you've been playing and teaching at Berklee since 1994.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Crazy.
I have. What a fast 22 years that's been, man.
No kidding.
And what a rewarding 22 years it's been at Berklee. I can't say enough, man, about my experience at Berklee. The students.
Yeah.
The faculty, the environment.
Yeah.
It's great, man. You know, I'm very, very grateful for that.
Very cool. I appreciate you coming on to Drumeo. And even though it's only for an hour, we're gonna capture as much as Dave as we can. For all you guys watching, he's also gonna be filming a course for Drumeo Edge members only. We're doing that tomorrow. It's gonna be really cool. We're also doing a Q&A tomorrow with him just for Edge members. So if you guys don't get your questions answered today, we're gonna be doing a whole Q&A with him tomorrow. But follow Dave. You can follow him on his website, DaveDicenso.com. You can also find him at Dave DiCenso Drums on Facebook. And he's also got a YouTube channel, which I believe is LA DiCenso Drums.
It is. LA
Yes.
from my wife, Lori Ann.
There you go.
She booted it up for me, and that's the LA.
That's the
I'm
LA.
not from LA. I'm from Boston.
I was wondering about that for a sec, but now it makes sense. Huge thanks to Zildjian, too. They supplied us with some cymbals
Yes.
For this lesson, and they're letting us keep them, too. Zildjian, you are the best.
Love you, Zildjian.
Yes, absolutely.
I've been with Zildjian since 1989.
Yeah.
The man, the myth, the legend himself, Lenny DiMuzio, signed me on in 1989. And then John, my great friend John DeChristopher, took over for Lenny. Had a long relationship with Johnny there, and he's still one of my good friends. And now Sarah Mullaney has, Sarah Hagen, Mullaney is her maiden name. Sarah Hagen has taken over. Is that where I'm looking? Hey,
that'll work.
I'm looking at that monitor over there. And I'm,
Just to the left. There
Hello.
you go. There you are.
Hi there. So, Zildjian. And so you gotta check this out. So these are the new. Can I take the floor for a second?
Go for it, man.
So these cymbals, the A Zildjians, these are newly designed as I believe about 2013. I think they came out at NAMM 2013, and they are thinner. They've gone back to how they were making them in the 70s, which were thinner, a higher profile, meaning that the bell is a little taller, for lack of a better word. It's a higher profile, and you know. Plenty of definition. I mean, if you're playing a big rock thing or you know, you might want a little heavier cymbal. This is a 20-inch crash ride, but such a versatile cymbal. You can ride on it. It's got a great crash sound. I'm in love with these new A's. And this is an old pair of, I think these are from the 70s, actually, maybe the early 80s. These I brought them in my suitcase.
Very cool.
The rest of them, thank you so much, Zildjian.
Yes,
Sarah.
big time. We always appreciate it. And today you're talking about, it's actually a really cool topic. It's demystifying rudiments and applications.
Yeah,
yeah. It's going to be good. You guys have a whole PDF. There's quite a bit of exercises on there, but we're not going to get through them all. We're going to tackle maybe 13 or so out of that list, but you can download the whole PDF and use it. Also, we are going to give away 2 copies of your book, which is Rhythm and Drumming Demystified. You guys got to check this out if you haven't. You can pick it up on Amazon. You can find it on his website, I'm assuming, correct?
Yes, you sure
you
can. Yep.
Very cool book, and we're going to be talking about some of the concepts, I guess, from this book.
We're gonna basically take yes. The short answer is yes.
So if you like this lesson and you want to further it, you guys can obviously check out his book. Now, to win the book, all you need to do is once this lesson hits YouTube, if you guys are watching it on YouTube, just leave a comment below about what your favorite part of the lesson was or what your favorite part of Dave's playing was. And within 30 days of releasing it, we're going to pick 2 winners, random, and you guys are going to get a copy of his book. So that's really cool. Again, wait until this hits YouTube, and if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment right below. Now, the last couple things I'll say is, for all you guys watching, if you aren't a member of Drumeo yet, why aren't you? Go onto drumeo.com, check us out, because we do stuff like this all the time. Every day we're live, and it's a really cool community of drummers that are here to support and motivate each other, so check it out. With that all being said, Dave, I'm going to give it over to you, man.
Okay.
Demystifying rudiments and applications.
Yeah. I'm ready. I just want to say one quick thing. That track that I played along to was written by my friend Ken Clark. And I play with Ken. We call it the DiCenso Clark Expedition. It's a duo, and we're just getting going. And I just want to let you know that tune was written by Ken Clark. And thank you, Ken Clark, if you're watching, which you're probably not, but hey, that's
Killer
okay.
track, man.
Yeah. Ken Clark is a monster B3 player, plays bass with his feet. He sings like just forget about it. He's got something deep inside of him.
Awesome.
Anyway, all right, so on to the lesson. So this first exercise that I'm going to show you is, here's what I want to get across. We take one idea and we basically apply creative devices to this one idea to diversify the idea. It's much more valuable to have 10 ideas that you know how to do 12 things with than it is to have 1,500 ideas, because we're storytellers and we need to know what to do with one idea. And that's how stories are told. They're told based on one idea. It's not 100 ideas. So this is along those lines. And the first device that we're using is called displacement. And what I'm going to show you is the first exercise that I'm going to show you right now is from my book, Rhythm and Drumming Demystified, lesson 17. It is exercise 8, and it's basically a displacement of a 6-stroke roll, a very commonly used rudiment. And so the rudiment in its natural form is this. Actually, there wouldn't be any accents. It would just be right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left. So the first device that we're using, or creative tool, is displacement. And that's the exercise you see on your screen. It's a displacement of a 6-stroke roll that was in its natural position. Now it's moved over by an 8th note. So now the 6-stroke roll essentially starts on the and of the beat. So it's 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 and a 3 4 1 2, right? So you get this and ga-da, ba-da, 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 and that's the shape or the figure that you're playing. So the first thing you want to do is just get comfortable with that. Be able to go 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 2 right? 1 2 3 4 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first device is displacement. And that's our ground zero right there. Now, the second device is something I call the last to first discipline. And that is where you take, like, for example, what you see on your screen, this 1-bar phrase, if you will, and you practice getting off of your time, your playing time, and you practice getting off of your time at different parts in the sticking, in the phrase. And so, in other words, you should start on the last two accents. So your first fill will be 1 EN, a 2 EN, a 3 EN, a 4. So it's almost like a, a little embellishment, or a pick out. All right, so then you would start on the second, the group of accents on beat 3, which would be 3 EN. So you'd start 1 EN, and that's the next exercise. Exercise 2 for our lesson, which will come up on the screen momentarily. That shows you how to get off of your time, your groove, and come into that sticking on the E of 3.
I see.
Right?
Yep.
So, it's a really cool device. I call it last to first. You could go first to last. But, it's very rare in real life, so to speak, that you're going to play 1-bar fills, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's much more rare than playing a 1-beat fill or a 2-beat fill. Much more common to do those. So this gives you an opportunity to practice the sticking starting from different points in the sticking. So it's very practical.
Let's hear how this one sounds.
Yeah, so this was out. Time I went over the bar line.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like this is a good example of taking something that you could say is like an overused and abused rudiment, and making it musical, making it practical. Okay, so that was starting on beat 3.
Got it.
And one of the cool things about the last to first discipline is it gets you coming off of your time where you might not be comfortable doing so, but you have to if you abide by the last to first protocol, so to speak. Okay, so exercise 6, which is exercise 3 for us. You guys are going to have like 26 different exercises available to you. We're only going to go through about a dozen of them. All right, so exercise 6. Now the next device is what I call, or what could be called, resolution points, further diversifying your ability to use this sticking. So you don't want to be nailed down to having to resolve your ideas to the downbeat, of course, right? So here it is to the of 4, the anticipation of 1. So that'd be 3 and a 4. So a little faster. That's coming later. But that was anticipation, right? To the
Yeah.
All right, same sticking. We're not changing the idea. The next exercise, exercise 7, takes us over the bar line. So again, we're on the device called resolution points. Explore different resolution points without changing the idea. We're going to get into changing the idea in a minute, but so far we have not changed it.
Okay.
Exercise 7 would be like this. 1, So that's going over the bar line to the and.
Okay, so just to recap.
Yes.
You got your main rudiment. Now you can do this with all rudiments, so the same concept, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing you talked about was displacing, so starting the rudiment in the middle of the rudiment or in a different spot, which I get, very cool.
Yes.
Then you played it in an application. Now, if you guys look 1 to 5, I think it is, or 1 to 5, you can see that happening with a quarter note, half bar, 3/4 bar, even almost a full bar, kind of.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And just to be clear, I don't look at it as starting in the middle of the rudiment. I look at it as the rudiment is starting in the middle of the beat.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
That's kind of an important distinction there. I mean, either way, you're going to get to the same destination, but just to have it clear in your head, or a clear way in your head, that's the way I think of it.
Cool.
Okay? So then, exercise 8, we get into another creative device or creative tool, and it's called substitution. And now, instead of this sticking, we are substituting a bass drum on the 5th of the 6 note groupings. So it was a left hand. We had right, left, right, right, left, left. Now we have right, right foot left.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so we got this. 1. You know, when you get to exercise 8, don't rush through it like I just did. I can do it because I've practiced it. But take your time, get very comfortable. Every exercise that you do, man, should groove. You know, it should feel good. There should be a pocket. You know, it should feel musical. So don't rush through it. Get very comfortable with it. And so there's your substitution. And now we're going to apply. We're going to go back to resolution points. So instead of resolving on 1, so resolving on 1 would be 1. Right? We're going to resolve exercise 11 takes us to the and it's starting on beat 2. To be specific, it's starting on the E of beat 2. Mm-hmm. Okay? And you know what? To be Dave, check this out.
Okay.
So if the rudiment starts with the right, which it does, in a way, we are starting not at the beginning of the sticking.
Yeah.
And here's what I want to clarify. To me, I look at these as figures. Yes, it's a rudiment, but it's articulating a figure, and that figure is E and. So that'll be a 16th note rest, followed by a 16th note, followed by an 8th note, and that's the figure. So that's the way you want to look at it. I will retract what I said earlier. You're actually thinking about the figure. So I'm starting with the actual figure.
Yeah.
So I'm starting on the E. Wherever I start, whether it's on beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, or beat 4, I'm starting on the E each time.
Okay.
Okay?
Makes sense.
All right, good. So exercise 11, we have 1. What is it? Okay, so what I did, because I want to resolve to the of 4, I put a bass drum note there. So, you know, with a crash, so we have 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. So starting on the E of 2 again, in the second bar, 1 E and a 2. Right? Is that clear? Does that make sense?
Yeah, show us to in context with the beat. Yeah.
That's 11.
Love it, man.
Okay?
I love where you're taking this stuff. The push and then the no downbeat on the 1. Love that stuff.
Well, you know, and again, it's practical because that's what we have to do.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
We have to conform, so to speak, to the music that we're interpreting.
Yeah.
Okay. So in a way, you could say we're forcing this rudiment to conform to certain contexts, which is exactly what we have to do in real life. All right, on to exercise 13. So that last creative device was resolution points. So mess with it. Now we're on to exercise 13, and now we've done another substitution. So the creative device here is substitution. And now instead of right, right, left, left, it's right, left, foot. All right? So, get comfortable with that. All right, now we'll apply that to time, and we're gonna do another resolution point. We're gonna go over the bar line. This is exercise 14. And exercise 14, if you look at the fill at the end of the 2 bars, it starts on the E of 3. The first beat, meaning beat 3, that cluster of notes, there's only 1 bass drum. So I'm back to the first substitution. So I'm combining basically the 2 substitution ideas.
Okay, yeah.
Okay? So we have, if I start on beat 3, it's 3. Okay? So 3. It's pretty slick. If you want to get into hand-foot combinations, this is a great way to do it. Start with, for example, in this lesson, a 6-stroke roll and start using substitutions.
Yeah.
But conform to some guidelines, like some context, like resolution points. Okay, well, I'm going to substitute, but I'm not going to just do it randomly. I'm going to put it in the context of time, and I'm going to be able to start wherever I want and end wherever I want. Very practical.
And still know where the 1 is at all times.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so exercise 14. Did I just do exercise 14?
You can do it for us one more time.
Okay. So we got... Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I love what you're talking about with resolution points. I love when you're putting the push in, going over top of the bar line. It all kind of makes sense, especially when you're talking about substitution with the and for this last one here, doing a bit of both, having the 1 kick and the 2 kicks.
Yep.
And for you guys watching, if you guys having a hard time following along, watch it again. This is definitely more intermediate style stuff here.
Yes.
Big time.
Yes. Faux show.
Continue, man.
Okay, so now exercise 15, we're back to displacement. And this gets a little more, I would say, more advanced because the information isn't different. It's still a 6-stroke roll, but now we're putting it so that we're moving it forward, back closer to beat 1. So the 6-stroke roll, the beginning with the right hand, starts on the E, not the and. We were just on the and one. E-and, E-and, E, right. Now we're a 1, 1, E, 1, E, 1, E, 1, E-and, 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 4, E-and, 1, E-and, 2, E-and, 3, E-and, 4, E-and, 1, E-and, 2,
One thing that I'm seeing in the chat is your interpretation of how you're counting the 16th notes over top of a triplet-based subdivision. How do you do that?
Good point. I'm glad you brought that up. And, we haven't talked about counting at all. And as you can see, I'm counting all the time. How do I do that is basically, we're in a 16th note triplet grid, essentially. And I could count 16th note triplets, and I highly suggest you do, especially at slower tempos. I say in my book, if you want to get inside every nook and cranny of the time when you're based in 16th note triplets, or any grid for that matter, you know, subdivide all of the space, you know? And that, for most, is very challenging, you know, especially 16th note triplets. So 16th note triplets would sound like this. The subdivision would be one-da, anada, two-da, anada. That's a way to count that. You know, I learned it to count it 1, 2, 3, 4. You could also do one triplet and triplet, two triplet and triplet. My buddy Joe Rizzo, is a former student of mine, showed me one-da, anada, two-da, anada, one-da, anada, two-da, anada. Had to give my buddy Joe Rizzo a shout out.
Yeah.
Hi, Joe. All right. So I like Joe's because it rolls off the tongue better for me. So you got one-da, anada, two-da, anada, right? So that's one-da, anada, two-da, anada, three. And then the swung 16th notes, which is essentially what they are, would be the first, third, fourth, and sixth partial of a sextuplet. So you get 1 E an, 2 E an, 3 E and, 4 E and, 1 E and, 2 E and, 3 E and, 4 E and, okay?
Gotcha.
All right, so I'll do 15 one more time. 1 E and, 2 E and, 3 E and, 4 E and, sorry, a 1 E and, 2 E and, 3 E and. All right, so get comfortable with that and feel that downbeat. And when I say feel it, I highly recommend that you count it. Don't just think it. But that's, you know, that's my opinion. It works. That's what works for me.
Cool.
Because if you can't feel the perspective of that downbeat, then this information is much less valuable to you. Mm-hmm. It's really not valuable at all to you. All right.
Cool.
So we're on to we're back to resolution points, and we're going to use this sticking now. So now we've displaced the 6-stroke roll again. Now it's the second time. We started on the downbeat, then we started on the and now we're starting on the E. All right, so exercise 20, you've got a bar of time out front, so 1, 2, That's a hard one to hear if you don't have that downbeat.
No doubt.
Okay?
Sounds great, though.
All right. So we got a couple more here based on that, but now we're going to substitute again. And so the original idea, which is what I just played for you, is now instead of, now we're basically substituting the two right hands. Is it two right hands? Yes. The two right hands are now two right foot strokes. So you got this. 1, E-N, 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 Slick. It's slick.
Yeah.
If you want to, you want slick, there's slick.
There you go.
So now 25 uses the same sticking as 22, but now we take a resolution point.
Cool. You want to throw 25 up there? There we go.
Yep. Okay, so now we're going over the bar line. So what I just demonstrated was to the downbeat. 1, E-N, E-N, to the down, right? So now 25 takes us to the E of 1 over the bar line. So I'll start on the second measure of this exercise. So we got 1, 2, yeah. So You know what? There should be a left hand. This is my mistake. There should be a left hand. It should be an accent on the first left hand of beat 3, okay? There's only one accent on the right hand. There should be an accent on the left right before that right. So we got the second bar. In. All right, I'll play the whole thing.
Wow. That one's tough.
Yeah, when you're starting that 6-stroke roll on the E, again, if you don't have the perspective of that downbeat, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. Well, it's not difficult once you get it, get comfortable with it. But yeah, it's more challenging than going 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool, man.
So there we just diversified your 6-stroke roll with a few simple creative devices. Okay. I'd ask you if there are any questions, but I can't.
I will.
He will. Dave will.
Are there any questions? Do you want to play us a quick little groove? A groove solo?
Sure.
While I get these questions in?
Yeah.
About 20 minutes? We're going to get Dave to play for us for a little bit. You guys have questions, I will get them in, and we will try to demystify this even further.
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right. So I'll play a little something for you.
Buddy. Just a little something you just whipped up on the spot. Unbelievable. Very cool.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, let's just let that digest for a little bit before I get to questions.
I like that idea.
Yeah, let that digest.
I like that idea.
We've got a lot of questions that have come in. We won't be able to get to them all. Again, remember, if you guys are watching and you're an Edge member, come online tomorrow with us at 3 o'clock. We're going to do a Q&A with Dave, and we will get to all the questions. But for now, let's get to a couple, okay?
Yeah.
One that's a little off topic, but just watching what you're doing, I have to ask it. This is from Sarah Mann. He says, hey, how are your hands so fast? What did you do?
Oh, man. Well, that's a long story that I'm going to keep as brief as I can. Geez, man, that's a hard question to answer. How did I get my hands fast? I practiced my bum off. Sorry.
It's all good, man.
Family program. I put a lot of time in, there's so much involved. Your fine motor skills as drummers. Like when I was a kid, I grew up. When I came onto the scene, if you will, I was a metal drummer, and I was playing a lot from up here because I didn't learn how to do it from here, and so I had speed when I was younger, but I worked for it, meaning I was working very hard for the speed, and so it wasn't as graceful and beautiful as it could be. And I hurt myself. I've had tendonitis probably since I was 18 years old in my left wrist and elbow, and it's even gone up into my shoulder more recently. And, in pursuit of bettering my hands as well as stopping hurting myself, I worked a lot on the finer motor skills, basically from your wrist down to your fingertips. And, that's a question I can't answer really too briefly. You really have to get some specific tutelage from someone who knows, how to do it, to get the different parts of the engine, if you will, working together. And you do have to have some strength, but you also have to have the ability to, surrender, if you will. You can't just do it. Well, I mean, I can't just do it all brute force. There's gotta be grace and beauty in it. Muhammad Ali said, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. He did not say sting like a bee, sting like a bee.
There you go.
I mean, you gotta know how to get out of your own way, if you will, and put something in motion and ride that wave of momentum, as well as power it at the same time. And it's a very, becoming a great musician, let's say a great musician who plays drums, man, it's a lifelong thing, and there's a lot to it.
Become a great musician that plays drums.
Yeah, a great musician who just happens to play his music on a set of drums. Yeah, and that's sort of on another topic, is don't just be in pursuit of becoming a great drummer, because that's not the end of the road. You're falling short of your goal unless that is your goal. But if you want to be a great musician, you got to go beyond being a great drummer. And there's, that's
Can you be a great drummer and not a great musician, do you think?
I think so.
Yeah?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, we're storytellers, and if you could have the most bountiful vocabulary in the world, but if you don't know how to organize these words into something that makes a statement and fits in to the overall context of what you do, meaning there's a bass player over there and a piano player and a singer and a horn section, and that's where you can't be a great musician just by having a plethora of things to say on the drums and having chops and speed and coordination. That's not enough unless that's your goal.
Then it's your goal and you can do that.
If that's your goal,
That's your goal.
then you could do that, and you'll probably play by yourself. you know?
And some people, that's what they want to do.
Exactly.
Nothing
and if
wrong
that's
with
what
that.
you want to do,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Here's a question from IanDrumway.com. Don't know if you know this guy or not, but he says, is that a Ken Clark tune? This is before, right in the very beginning. Is that a Ken Clark tune you were playing to in the beginning? So I don't know if he knows you or if he knows Ken himself.
Oh, that might be
Ian also.
Ian Phillips. I bet you that's Ian Phillips.
Okay.
He's a guy from New Hampshire. He studied with me. He's a great guy. Yeah, Ian, that's Ken Clark, man.
There you go.
The great Ken Clark.
Here's a question for you. This one is from, sorry, one second, let me find it here. Jay Contrino. He says, when you improvise over a song form, as you did in the first song today, do you typically think of the melody of the song, the rhythmic figures, or do you think about one of those universal rhythms as discussed in your first book?
Man, that's a really good question. I think I know Jay. If it's the Jay Contrino, I know. What's up, Jay? In that tune, I was not thinking of the melody because I was soloing over a vamp. So I created my own melody, sort of something to hang my ideas on, you know, a framework.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, Ken was playing you could count it in 3 or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and so he's on those upbeats, and I created a so. Created basically an ABCB form for myself. Mm-hmm. And I honestly don't remember if I actually did that for this performance, but that's what I often have in my head when I'm playing that tune. And yes, I will often think of clave as well, or some sort of clave type rhythm, as sort of a sub-context. Like if I'm playing around a melody, I will often be conscious of what the clave is that accompanies that melody. And I'm not talking about the clave instrument, I'm talking about the rhythm itself. Mm-hmm. So it's like you have like the melody, and you have, and that's informing you, and you have the clave or a clave that is also informing you, and that, you know, that's like, to me, that's having the clave in mind is a way for me to sort of dance within that melody, because I don't want to just play the melody. You know, I want to be informed by the melody, but I also want to have something else that's informing me beyond the pulse, and so I'll often go to clave.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's another tough question to answer concisely.
Well, it's good to hear your insights on it, because that's something I think, especially advanced drummers, are always trying to figure out how the best phrase and stuff when it comes to, especially improvising over melodies like that.
Yes.
And it's really cool hearing your internal melody that you had in your head that was different to his, but they still were together.
Yes.
Yeah, love it.
Oh man, I'm going to stop there.
Okay.
I have a few more things I could say, but we'll move on.
He's going to do a course with us, guys. And he's going to do a Q&A, so I'm sure we'll get more out of him then. Here's a question from Alan Dueck. It says, looks to me like lesson number 1 is the pattern that is used, then played in a fill for examples on lessons 2 to 6. Am I following correctly on the PDF?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's this. Exercise 1 is a displaced 6-stroke roll, and then exercise 2, 3, 4, and 5 use that sticking sequentially from shorter to longer. So I use the last bit of the sticking as a fill, then I use the last 2 bits, then the last 3 bits, then the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And it's all the same idea. And then exercise 6, I get into a different resolution point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And again, you guys, if you have to watch this again, that's totally fine. It's on YouTube. It's going to be on Drumeo as well. Just go back, watch it as many times as you need. Follow along with the PDF. We only went through 13, I believe, of the 26 exercises.
Yes.
But they all kind of work off of each other and kind of expand. Last two questions will go to Bonzi, and then we'll get you to play us out one more time. Oh, am I too loud for you?
Sorry.
I can yell a little louder if you want, Dave. Bonzi just asks, are you using a 10 and a 14 tom? They sound great.
This is a 12 and a 14, and I would agree they do sound great. I don't even know I know they're Sonor drums, but I do not, it says vintage maple shell. So it's maple.
Prolate, yeah.
I don't know what the vintage means. Maybe they're rounded edges. But these, this is a 12 and a 14 and a 17 by 22.
Very cool. Last question he asks is, thank you for the great lesson. What are your 2 to 3 go-to rudiments that you enjoy incorporating into your music? Or do you even have any of them?
That kind of shifts, from year to year, month to month, whatever. Yeah. So like right now, for example, I'm enjoying incorporating Swiss triplets into grooves. And it won't necessarily be a pure Swiss triplet all the time, but I'm definitely thinking Swiss triplet. Like if I play a groove like this. So by the way, this is not in a triplet grid. This is a 16th note grid. Mm-hmm. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And so I will take a little fragment of that and incorporate it into a groove. And I'll also do it between. It's a very Zig modaliste thing to do. The drummer for the Meters, he's one of my favorite drummers of all time. Joseph Zigaboo Modaliste. I think it's Modaliste. It might be Modaliste. I should know that. But, if you don't know the Meters and you're into funk, you're missing out on something. So go check out the Meters.
Yeah.
So... thinking about it right now, so it may not be as groovy as it would be if I wasn't thinking about it, but that's an application of a Swiss triplet and a duple grid.
Cool. Bonzi says thank you so much.
You're quite welcome, Bonzi.
Also, Jay says it is the Jay you know, Dave. So he's watching you.
Yeah, cool, Jay. I believe Jay studied with my dad for a long time.
Cool.
Yeah.
He says thanks, great insights, man. So.
Oh, you're awesome, Jay. Thanks for watching, man.
It's 5 o'clock, so let's wrap it up.
Incredible, huh?
Time just goes by so fast. I told you right in the beginning, I'm like, you're going to blink and it's going to be over, and sure enough, man.
Yeah.
So again, thank you so much for coming to Drumeo, Dave.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Dave. Drumeo team, you guys are awesome. All you cats and kittens in there, thank you.
Well, you're always welcome back here. And again, you guys, we're going to be doing a course that we'll release later in the year with Dave, and also a live Q&A with him tomorrow. Also, we're going to be giving away 2 of his books. So I said in the very beginning of the lesson, if you missed it, as soon as this lesson hits YouTube, and if you're watching this on YouTube now, leave a comment below with your favorite part of the lesson or your favorite part of Dave's playing, and we're going to randomly select within 30 days of releasing it. Follow us on Drumeo, guys. Obviously, you're all watching us right now, but go and sign up on drumeo.com if you want. And I'm going to leave you guys with Dave playing us out. Is that cool?
Okay, sure.
That was so cool what you did a couple minutes ago. So I'm gonna let you take it away. I'm gonna leave because I want to watch this as an audience member, because this brings me back, man. Watching that DVD hundreds and hundreds of times.
Awesome.
See you guys later. See you, buddy.
Thanks, Dave. All right. So what will I play? So I'll incorporate some of that Swiss triplet kind of thing. 2, 3, 4, 1.